Hello, you're welcome to Tech Hustle on YouTube. We're Python for intermediates. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Or subscribe. Am I now put you on post notification? Send a later on say post video biana. Open your notification with me Ashe. In the previous video, we talked about the functional styles and then comprehensions, or comprehensions and functional styles. And we did a little bit about the comprehension. So in today's video, the Rebecca Safa a functional style. And with a functional style, no, say maybe you said the comprehension a boy may throw codes in a fewer way, Functional style also a boy may throw code in a fewer way, but with this we are going to use a specific function. So these two functions that we are going to talk about is the map function and the filter function. Later on, I'll be explaining the reduce function, but with the reduce function, I'll just give some little bit explanation about it. Okay, so talking about the map function, let's say we have even numbers, we have these numbers here. So I'll say num. Let me use num instead. Num is equal to these numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. Okay. So with a map function, let's say we want to find for the square of these numbers here. We want to square all these numbers here. How are we going to use the map function? It is very simple. Let's create a variable squared is equal to, and then the first thing we're going to do is to convert everything we do into a list, because we would want to display it in a list, or we'd want to insert it into a list. So we say list, okay, and then the next one we are going to use here, we said we are going to use the map function. So we type map, okay, and then within the map function, we'll be using the lambda function again. So here, if you don't know how to use the lambda function, I'll urge you to go back to the previous videos which we did, and the lambda function. So I'm type a lambda. Okay, so with the lambda, the first argument is by x. Okay, and then after using this argument, we said we want to find for the square root of these numbers here. So we say x2. Okay, now the next thing is to bring another comma, or bring a comma, and then we put our num list here. So what it means is that bring this list, and then within this list, items are all list multiply by, and I say find for the square of every item be what this list okay, find for every or find for the square of each item be what list so it's here. We are converting into a list. Okay, so let me print this for us to see. Squared. Okay, squared. Okay, now I'm running this code for us to see. So as you can see, the square root of each of these numbers so what to compare your 1, square of 1 your 1, square of 2 your 4, square of 3 your 9, square of 4 is 16. So it goes on like that. So that is how we can use the functional style, which is the map function, to do this. So in this case, in the you see the comprehension style now, it would have been simple. Can also ASA square. Okay, is equal to a list. So I'll say for I. Okay, so let me say I in num. Okay, for I in num. But here I'll say I squared 2 for I in num. Okay, so for I in num, square every item in this list. In this print here, remember the square numbers of these items na ɛwɔ list no mu no. Nti, as you can see, we got the same answer. Into compare which of these one na very simple. Which make you see back. Okay. The next functional style yɛbɛka ho asɛm the filter function. The filter no nso ɛboa me it may filter through a specific list item and answer a specific data structure. So for instance, these numbers here you can filter even numbers in Kwan. Okay, if you want to filter for only even numbers, you use the filter function. Until let me say even here, you changing it to even and then now the way about filter. Okay, and then here also you're changing it to filter because you're not going to use the map function again because we want to filter. That's the reason why I'm using filter, I say. But still, no, the lambda function there. Okay. You see a even numbers. So you say modulo 2 is equal to 0. Okay. So this condition will come. So x modulo 2 is equal to 0. And here the list, the number list will come. So if I print this, I'm supposed to have even numbers printed in the console. Let's see, my running any shady. Okay, so as you can see, you have 1, 2, even. So I printed the num instead of the even. So let me run it again. Okay, so let me clear and run it again. Okay, so now we have 2, 4, 6, 8. That is the even numbers in this list. Okay, so with the filter function, the bomb out to me filter through a specific list item and also a specific data structure. Okay. And sadly we answer with myself you see the comprehension style no. So with the comprehension style no, let's say even nums. Okay. So I'll say for I in num. Okay. If I modulo 2, okay, I modulo 2 is equal to 0. Okay, then print I here. Okay, in this I'm printing even numbers. I'm supposed to have the even numbers, same results. Now I said the mommy. Okay, till you're running near here. I said no, so the same results. Into check here, we mean so the easy man, you can choose one. Okay. So that is how it is. And another functional style bit my so the reduce function. So with the reduce function, as my bit my say powerful, but sometimes it's unnecessary. So we use the reduce function. Okay. So you ever say be our numbers, these numbers here what has that is these numbers here were here. If I say adding in at a go, we can use the reduce function, but find the list our function and find the sum, which will help us sum all these things. So although they're powerful, but it means if I say you multiply all these numbers together, and also it me easy the reduce function. Okay, so one assignment and I say mini exercise I'm the but here you solving a while be solve it. No, I have to my you are going to use the reduce function, but with the reduce function, you multiply all numbers in a list using the reduce function. You create a list of numbers like this to say them are creating a these numbers here high. Okay. Now I'm multiplying by using the reduce function. Okay. So that is how you're going to do it. We're going to check it and on why they what how we see I know a simple power. And one thing let me account myself so the comparisons between the comprehensions and loop. Okay, the comparison between the comprehensions and the loops. So here screen is what picture here that's we have the use case and then the best choice. Okay, so we have the simple transformation, filtering, complex logic, debugging, and readability first, and then best choice. So, for example, offer simple transformation, offer simple transformation. What is the best choice for you to use? And I said the best choice for you to do. For simple transformation, we use comprehension. So, offer simple transformation there. Let's say you want to transform a specific data structure, which may use comprehension. And offer filter a specific data structure. So, for example, person filter even numbers and person filter prime numbers in the list, which may use the comprehension. And say complex logic here, may also be easy loop. And say person will debug in here very simple mawa, and so may also be easy loop. And say consider readability first and so on. May also be easy loop. And one thing I will comprehension I say for performance no comprehension faster than using a loop, a little bit faster than using a loop. And one thing so as I almost say loops no, they are often clearer for complex logic. Okay, so using the complex logic for loop no, and also a clearer, it is up a clearer view of your code which may easy a complex which may use loops, not complex logic. Although say a complex logic, which may use loop. Okay, so say open clearer view of the code now, then you have to use loops. Okay, and one golden rule you should consider is to know that writing a code is for humans. Okay, you write codes for humans before you write it for Python. Okay, and so whenever I will write a code piano, I can say a team on the project. Now more code, you should consider the other humans too, because after writing maybe on Baby ready, make say be a supervisor. You have to write it in a sense that obetimi or fact say or fact code now with my day. I really know what is simple. Okay, so you be also channel also easy a specific can say data structure be a specific principle be in the code. Sometimes some of these principles the boy reading the code no, very difficult for the person to be reading. Sometimes you have to consider human beings before you consider Python. Although you also will throw a cleaner code, or throw a professional code, those kinds of things. But you have to first consider humans before you consider Python. And I believe this video was very educational and you learned something very important. Make sure say unsubscribe to this channel. Over hit it on the subscribe button. Now put it on post notification. Send it by in the future. I'll say you put another video. And Tech Hustler. There were a lot of things for our viewers, and if you keep it glued to our channel. Now, if you subscribe here, message say subscribe. There were a lot of things. You say the banner. What we want to do is to share our knowledge we've gained from school to the work field, from experiences, personal experiences. So freelancing, you share all these kinds of experiences now. Thank you, and thank you for watching this video this far. And I believe I'll see you next time. Bye bye.